Well, home court at the Obama Presidential Center is already one of the museum campus's most popular spaces, with the former president's passion for the sport and the South Side community that surrounds the library. The team behind the building had to get it right, and that's where our next guest comes in. Renauld D is a partner with Moody Nolan, the architectural firm that designed home court. Renauld, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Jewel, thanks for having me.
All right, so you were saying you'll be modest, but I'm just going to say you all are the architectural design geniuses behind home court. When you all found out that you were getting this project, what went through your mind?
Well, to some extent, I'm still pinching myself, frankly, now that it's done. But no, frankly, it's an awesome responsibility. And so, really, I was impressed by just the gravity of being commissioned by, the first African-American president in our nation's history and designing a facility that inherently has to serve multiple uses. And so that's not always easy, but hopefully we struck the right balance.
I believe you did. It's a beautiful space, and you yourself are a native of the South Side of Chicago, so this has even more significance, I would imagine. Can you express that?
Absolutely. And so with no disrespect, I know you're a Chicago native as well, but all great things start on the South Side.
Hey, I'm not saying they didn't. My family is, my mom and dad grew up on the South Side. They just brought me north, so.
but no, so, semi-joking aside, because there is tremendous pride in place for me, but no, seeing the world come, to Chicago, not just for the opening of the Obama Presidential Center, but even with other events such as WNBA weekend, that's forthcoming next week. Really, Chicago is a global city, as a passionate sports, town, and frankly, Chicago was one of the early investors into women's sports, and so, I think it's only fitting, candidly, that the W chose this location to really celebrate the best and brightest that professional basketball has to offer.
Yeah. You were leading into my next thought in terms of WNBA All-Star Weekend. Part of it taking place at home court, and then another portion of festivities taking place at Wintrust Arena, which is also, I'm just learning, one of your all's designs as well. So go into a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so really, Wintrust opened back in 2017. It was designed as a multi-tenant facility. DePaul University plays its men's and women's basketball games at Wintrust, in addition to obviously the Chicago Sky playing their home games, but McCormick Place also uses Wintrust Arena as kind of a Swiss Army knife sort of venue. So it can host convention type functions, as well as obviously athletic events. They dress it up as a white tablecloth function, or building for white tablecloth functions. And there's a lot of similarity to that and how we approach the design for home court. The president's vision was really to use home court as a catalyst for building community, and really being able to serve a multitude of functions. People will one day get married, there. The Alpha sorority has already hosted a couple of fundraising events there. Obviously, the W's events are, forthcoming. And so really that cross utility, I think, is number one, it's a hallmark of my firm and the work that we do, but it really speaks to how do you build community? And we ultimately, as architects, we design and build buildings to serve people.
Absolutely. It's beautiful inside of home court. I had the pleasure of going inside a few weeks ago, and I guess I never paid too much attention to a basketball court before, but I love the fact that there's windows in there. Like, you can see the outside. I was like, this just makes it even more pleasant to play basketball or whatever is happening inside of there. So
no, that was by design. And so if you think about the Obama Presidential Center campus, as a continuum, you've got the north end bookended by the museum tower, and then our building bookends the southern end of campus. And so there's a formality, when it comes to museum, buildings and the various structures that surround it. Our design intent was really to make home court transparent and turn it inside out. So really activating the use and the utilization of the building by being able for passerby to walk by and see activity, to see themselves active in the space. And so, again.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much, Renauld, for joining us. We appreciate you being here. For more information on the work Moody Nolan does, you can visit moodynolan.com.